pure rifle away.
This is March 19, 1997, and I'm Doe, some called our partnership T and Doe. That's not my name, but that's how I'm referred to on planet Earth at this time.
It is intended for the entertainment and instruction of broad-minded adults only, and should not be played to or sold to minors under any circumstances whatsoever. Thank you.
Broadcasting from the floating pie pan in the sky at Groom Lake Analog Recordings. Welcome to TarantulasDreamTV. Now here's your host, Samba.
I'm back, baby. I'm back. Welcome to TarantulasDreamTV. I am your host,
Samba.
Here we go. Season 2, beginning right now. 2121 Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name is Samba. You're listening and watching Tarantula Stream TV. Season 2. Phone number for the show is 520-704-7820. If you'd like to call into the show, 9:30 is open lines. Maybe you notice some things that are different, like the fact that I'm just floating through this cosmic emptiness, coming at you to bring you just the latest and greatest when it comes to the paranormal, the occult, UFOs, conspiracies, whatever I want to talk about, we're going to talk about on this show. I hope everyone is doing just fine out there. I hope everyone is doing great. I've been off the air for almost 3 months now, and look at me now. I mean, look at us now. We've got a new president. We're still in the thick of COVID. It's like I left for a couple months. I was hoping things would I don't know, maybe kind of slow down a little bit, but it seems like 2021 is going to be just as crazy as 2020. So I don't know. Let's gear up. I'm here to guide us through 2021, the paranormal universe. So let's start this night off right to the old classics. Some headlines. First headlines coming from CNN.com. Mitch McConnell, Marjorie Taylor Greene's views are a cancer for the GOP. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell on Monday issued a tacit rebuke of controversial Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, slamming the Georgia Republicans' loony lies and conspiracy theories as a cancer for the party. Loony lies and conspiracy theories are a cancer for the Republican Party and our country, McConnell said in a statement. Somebody who suggested that perhaps no airplane hit the Pentagon on 9/11, that horrifying school shootings were pre-staged, and that the Clintons crashed JFK Jr.'s airplane is not living in reality. This has nothing to do with the challenges facing American families or the robust debates on substance that can strengthen our party. While McConnell did not name Greene directly, his statement stands as a scathing rebuke of the freshman Republican House member. The Hill first reported on the statement. Greene quickly shot back on Twitter, asserting that the real cancer for the Republican Party is weak Republicans who only know how to lose gracefully. This is why we are losing our country. So there you go. I don't think I've ever really agreed with Mitch McConnell on anything. Literally, on literally anything. I don't know. But with this, I do agree that Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's got to go. What is the deal with Marjorie Taylor Greene? Unfortunately, I think that the Republican Party has really just shown finally showing their true colors, the colors that we all knew they had, but now they just don't even care. They're just going for it now. So there you go. You heard it here first. I finally agree with Mitch McConnell on one thing. We got to get rid of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Anyway, in the second headline, It's a sad headline, unfortunately. It comes from the NewYorkTimes.com. Dustin Diamond, actor on Saved by the Bell, dies at 44. Dustin Diamond, the former child actor who found fame on the enduring NBC Saturday morning sitcom Saved by the Bell, but struggled to find work in later years, died on Monday in Florida. He was 44. A representative for Mr. Diamond, Roger Paul, confirmed the death. He said that the cause was carcinoma and that Mr. Diamond died in a hospital. After Mr. Diamond went through some medical testing in January, his representative said in a statement that he had cancer. From 1989 to 1992, Mr. Diamond played Samuel Screech Powers on Saved by the Bell, which developed a cult following among millennials and members of Generation X and grew into an internet obsession for some fans. So yes, rest in peace, Dustin Diamond. I know for me personally, I'm not sure for anyone on the chat, I'm going to check the chat here in a second, how many of y'all watched Saved by the Bell back in the day? I remember as a younger man, as a child, when I say child, probably like maybe 10, maybe right around 10. I remember loving watching Saved by the Bell. It was just one of my favorite shows, one of my favorite things to watch. I watched all the made-for-TV Saved by the Bell films, the movies, the wedding in Vegas when they went to Hawaii. Yes, it's not. I'm not keeping it secret. I loved Saved by the Bell. So let's give it up for Dustin Diamond, and also just how quickly he passed. I remember reading him going to the hospital earlier on in the month, and then suddenly. That's it. So really, it shows you that, really you got to watch out for yourself. You got to watch out for, if you're feeling bad, you got to get checked up. You got to take care of your health, especially as we get a little older. Anyway, let me check the chat over here before we get into the meat of the night. Yes, the meat of the night is back. Let's get into the night meat, but first, check the chat. Lizzie Mouse. Hello, Lizzie Mouse. Welcome back. Quiverlip, Freakin' Shred, JFA. Ow, yes, I love me some JFA. First song of the new season, so I'm happy to have some punk locals on the show. Trial and Error Collective, hell yeah, welcome back, suckers. Welcome back, Trial and Error Collective. Nice to see you, Benjamin. He's back, baby. Benjamin, I am back, and I'm here to feed you the good news of the paranormal. Celia, you're back. Yes, I am back, Celia. Thank you for coming back. And Wooden Tooth Records every day after school. Well, there you go. See, another Saved by the Bell fan, and for everyone else not commenting about Saved by the Bell. I know you watched it. Don't lie. We all know you did. Come on, Quiverlip. I know you loved Saved by the Bell. Who was your favorite? Zach Morris, Screech, freaking AC Slater, Kelly Kapowski? Who was your favorite? Anyway, comment in the chat who was your favorite. Anyway, let's get down to the meat of the night. So this week we're talking about Heaven's Gate. Now, Heaven's Gate holds a special place in my heart because I was there in the sense that I was old enough to remember the news reports of the unfortunate events of 1997. I remember that as a kid, and it's still stuck with me. So Heaven's Gate is something that's kind of tattooed on my brain as something that seemed very important at the time, and it was very important. So for anyone who's not familiar with Heaven's Gate, even though I feel like most people at this point are fairly familiar with what Heaven's Gate is or who they are, this is from wikipedia.org. Heaven's Gate was an American UFO religious cult based near San Diego, California. It was founded in 1974 and led by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles. Heaven's Gate has been described as a UFO cult or UFO religion, as UFOs and extraterrestrials factor heavily in the main beliefs of the group. Now, the core tenets of the religion, quote-unquote, or cult, involve extraterrestrial contact, past lives, Luciferians, a physical heaven, extraterrestrial possession, and the revised definition of suicide, which we will dive into later. Now, ultimately, Heaven's Gate took the story of Christianity, as Heaven's Gate did believe in many of the foundations of Christianity, such as Jesus, Satan, a form of the rapture, etc., and mixed it with heavy elements of ancient alien and New Age theory. Now, in 1997, 39 members of the cult committed mass suicide in their rented San Diego mansion. So yes, I feel like most people are fairly familiar with sort of the basic story of Heaven's Gate. But what I wanted to really get into with these episodes was some more of the foundational beliefs of Heaven's Gate, the foundational beliefs of Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles, where they came from. HBO has this great 4-part series documentary right now about Heaven's Gate that I recommend everyone checking out. But not trying to push you away to go watch some HBO right now. Stick right here on Tarantulas Dream TV with your boy.
We're not hitchhiking anymore.
Samba.
There you go. I hit the wrong button. There you go. Still working out the kinks with my new setup over here. Now, what exactly is a UFO religion? Now, this is from jamesbishopblog.com. UFO religions are new religious movements that treat extraterrestrial intelligence and contact with such intelligences with primacy within their system of belief. Although it is common to refer to these religions as UFO religions or UFO-related religions, some scholars prefer the term ETI religions or extraterrestrial-inspired religions as being more inclusive. As they are commonly used, the terms UFO religion and UFO-related religion are misnomers. Taken quite literally, the term implies religious perspectives related to unidentified flying objects. However, as the terminology is commonly evoked, UFO-related religions also include religious perspectives wherein there's no actual contact with the UFO, but instead channeled messages or some other form of contact with extraterrestrial entities. As the UFO is not common to all these religious perspectives, but the ET in some form is, then the term ETI religions is used here as the more inclusive term. So, always trying to be inclusive even when it comes to UFO religions. Now, some other notable UFO religions that I'd like to cover at a later date include Raelism, which is described as the largest UFO religion in the world. Scientology, I feel like most of us know, some basics about Scientology, but yes, they are a UFO religion. The Nation of Islam, that is also a religion that has some deep-rooted kind of beliefs in UFOs and extraterrestrials, as well as the Aetherius Society. Now, a note on Heaven's Gate as a UFO cult or religion. Most people are familiar with the events of the 1997 Heaven's Gate mass suicide and are even familiar with at least the basic beliefs of the group in regards to UFOs, but most would be surprised at how tightly they incorporated Christianity into the general theory, blurring the lines between a cult and a religion. Now, I'm not here to judge anybody if anyone's religious on the chat. I'm definitely not calling your religious beliefs cult-like in any way or form, any way, shape, or form. So if anyone has any religious beliefs, please don't worry. There's no judgment here. You believe what you want to believe as long as you're not harming anyone else, I suppose. But yes, it is fairly interesting how the two terms can kind of be interchangeable depending on kind of how the beliefs are carried out and how they're enforced. Now, I want to get into Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles. Now, Marshall Applewhite, who is also known as Doe, was born in 1931, the son of a Presbyterian minister. Applewhite bounced around the country after earning a bachelor's degree in philosophy, a master's degree in music, as well as a stint in the U.S. Army. So it's fairly well known amongst people who know about Heaven's Gate that Marshall Applewhite had a lovely voice, just an enchanting, lovely singing voice, as well as a nice speaking voice. I'd say if you watch interviews with him, especially later on in the Heaven's Gate kind of story, you can tell that his voice it does feel very soothing. I don't know why. It's just a very soothing cadence and delivery. So yes, he had a very nice voice. Now, during his time as a music teacher at the University of Alabama, where he started to go by the name Herf, Applewhite lost his position after it emerged that he had an affair with a male student. The emergence of his homosexuality and his father's rejection of that fact would play greatly into Applewhite's teachings of repressing sexual urges, which we will get into later. Now, after his dismissal from the University of Alabama, Applewhite moved to Houston and worked again as a teacher at the University of St. Thomas. Now, unfortunately, due to mounting depression and other emotional problems, he resigned in 1970, although it was also rumored that he had another relationship with a student during this time. Now, in 1971, Applewhite's father died, causing Applewhite to dive deeper and deeper into his depression. Now, Applewhite began to work at a theater in Houston, attempting a career as a singer, which I really wish he would have been successful in that. We might be listening to some classic Herf Applewhite albums right now. Now, Bonnie Nettles' daughter, Terry, worked with Applewhite at the theater and remarked, "Someone got hurt at the drama school in the theater that Herf worked at. Herf accompanied the injured person to the hospital where he met Bonnie." Now, Bonnie Nettles, also known as T, was born in 1927 into a Baptist family. Her religious upbringing caused her to move away from religion in her adulthood. Now, Nettles described receiving communications from her spiritual advisor, a 19th century monk named Brother Francis. She also engaged in seances, as well as studying astrology, theosophy, which is, now this is from wikipedia.org, a religion that teaches that spiritual adepts known as masters are attempting to revive knowledge of an ancient religion once found across the world, and which will come again to eclipse the existing world religions, as well as she studied the occult. Now, this is from the NewYorkTimes.com. Several fortune tellers had recently read Mrs. Nettles' future, where a mysterious man she had yet to meet loomed. He was tall, with light hair and a fair complexion, an apt description for Herf Applewhite. Now, Nettles became a registered nurse, and as a nurse, she worked at a hospital in Houston that would eventually be the meeting place between her and Applewhite. Applewhite described meeting Nettles. I was visiting a hospitalized friend when Mrs. Nettles entered the room, and our eyes locked in a shared recognition of esoteric secrets. He believed that their deep, instantaneous connection was due to potentially having met in a previous life. Now, finding spiritual partners in each other, Applewhite and Nettles left their previous lives behind, including numerous children between the both of them from previous marriages, and began their long road together, forming Heaven's Gate. And that's where I'm going to leave you all for a hot second when I check the chat over here, see what's popping off over here in the chat. Let's see, Quiver Lip, I'm a Slater baiter. What? Oh boy. I mean, yes, I always loved Mario Lopez. Always loved AC Slater. He's, he was like a Latin dreamboat. I don't know. Celia, what's your take on oobleck? Interesting, oobleck. Honestly, it's not quite a slime. It's, it's not quite a food, but it's certainly a wonderful educational device. If anyone would like to make me some oobleck, send it over my way. I'll DM you my address. We can exchange ooblecks. Whatever we got to do to make this happen. Trial and Error Collective, the WYNC podcast series about Heaven's Gate is great too. WNYC. Okay, I'll check that out as well. Trial and Error Collective, as well as everyone else on the chat right now. If you want to check out this podcast, Celia, St. Thomas is a private Catholic university. Well, there you go. I guess St. Thomas is a private Catholic university. Celia, are you familiar? Do you have any inner knowledge about St. Thomas University? Was that your alma mater? Did you ever want to go to a private Catholic university? I don't know. Lizzie Mouse, what is that? Be right back. Google research. Are you referring to oobleck, Lizzie Mouse? It's a fine substance. It's something that I remember loving as a child. And I feel as though it's a great teaching tool to really teach kids about slime and goo and how to make it at home and how to treat your goo nicely. So once you research the old oobleck, let people know in the chat what you think of oobleck over there. Anyway, so it's 9:20. We got about 10 minutes till the bottom of the hour, so I'm going to get into a few more things over here before we take a little break. Now, Applewhite and Nettles, they went by a few different pseudonyms as leaders of Heaven's Gate, including the Two, or the UFO 2, Guinea and Pig, Bo and Peep, and finally Doe and T. Now, the relationship was deeply close, but was non-sexual and platonic. So just really deeply tied together souls, but really just deeply tied together in spirituality and friendship. So there was no sexual relationship with them or anything like that. Now, in the early days of Heaven's Gate, Applewhite and Nettles lived meagerly, traveling across the Southwest with little money. It was during these travels that the two solidified their teachings. So yes, that's another reason why Heaven's Gate I really connect with the story of Heaven's Gate and a lot of the just the little things about the group because they were a very, I won't say Arizona, but Southwest kind of based group. In fact, and this is maybe a little spoiler alert for a Wednesday's show, but the group eventually, when they started to get online and post 1997, post mass suicide, the remaining members are now currently still based, I believe, out of Tempe. So we'll be getting into that more on Wednesday. But so they do have a very deep connection to Arizona, which is, I live in Arizona. Not everyone in the chat maybe might not live in Arizona, but most people do. So, or most people that I know do. So there's a deep connection with Arizona, with Heaven's Gate. So what are some of the core beliefs of Heaven's Gate? Now, Applewhite thought that he was the reincarnation of Jesus. Now, on the flip side of that, Applewhite and Nettles also believed that they were the two witnesses described in the book of Revelation. Now, this is the kind of the verse that talked about the two witnesses in the book of Revelation. It says, "I will appoint my two witnesses, and they will prophecy for 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. If anyone tries to harm them, fire comes from their mouths and devours their enemies. This is how anyone who wants to harm them must die. They have power to shut up the heavens so that it will not rain during the time they are prophesying. And they have the power to turn the waters into blood and to strike the earth with every kind of plague as often as they want." So yes, it's a little, there's sort of some contradictions going on there, where Applewhite thought he was the reincarnation of Jesus, but they were also these two witnesses described in the book of Revelation. So, some kind of contradictions there, but that's just what they believe. Now, the two witnesses are ultimately killed, but resurrected and taken into heaven. Now, Applewhite and Nettles believe that they would be killed, but resurrected and taken aboard a spaceship, which they called the Demonstration. Now, the Earth will be recycled before the year 2027. Now, to survive, members of the group need to elevate their consciousness to allow their earthly bodies to be taken aboard a spaceship known as the next level. They equate human consciousness with the idea of a soul. Now, suicide is not frowned upon in this group as long as it's in service to the next level. The human body is considered a vehicle for the soul. Originally, suicide was not considered necessary to free the soul from the body during the transition to the next level, but this was revised later due to a devastating death within the group, which we will get into in a moment. Now, like most cults, all earthly attachments must be abandoned. No family, friends, jobs, etc. outside of the group. Although members were allowed to leave if desired, and were not allowed to visit family, were allowed to visit family a handful of times throughout the years. Now, each member followed a strict diet, believing that food should be only for sustenance and survival, not for pleasure. Now, this comes from a 2015 Vice interview with one of the surviving active members. Now, apparently on Mondays, they ate, for breakfast, they ate a hot cereal with raisins, bread midday, and then midday, they ate salad and Swedish meatballs and mashed potatoes, corn and rolls, and iced tea. And then in the evening, they had a meat sandwich that included pickles, chips, and a drink. Now, one of the more interesting little facts here about Heaven's Gate is that they actually published a diet in a cookbook. And I actually have a little interesting little slideshow that I'll bring up after the break here. But yes, they published a cookbook. So we're going to take a look at some of the pictures from the cookbook, as unfortunately, the cookbook is available to purchase, but it is extremely expensive because it is not currently in print. So if you want to buy a copy, you have to buy a used copy. And because of the suicides, people kind of started snatching up this cookbook because it's kind of seen as this like cult ephemera. It's just this like kind of whole thing when it comes to the cookbook. Now, it does look like I have a caller pre-open lines. Caller, you are on the air with Tarantulas Dream TV.
Hey, it's first-time listener, long-time fan, Henry Barajas calling.
Oh, how you doing, Henry?
Hey, good. I just learned about a conspiracy, a Jewish space laser.
Oh, the Jewish space laser. Yeah, I saw like a little headline on Reddit today while I was kind of perusing through, and what some group said that they weren't responsible for any kind of fire. The Jewish space laser wasn't responsible for any fires or anything like that. Did you read? Is that what you read?
Yeah, I'm watching The Daily Show, and there's this Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about this Jewish space laser that caused a forest fire.
Now, I remember when California last year was going through all the big fires and whatnot, that I did read that conspiracy. I didn't read that it was a Jewish laser. I just read that there was the rumor that there was some sort of clandestine technology that potentially had been used to cause the fires, and that was the real cause, not any kind of climate change or anything like that. But I didn't quite read that Marjorie Taylor Greene had anything to do with that. Now, did you watch the beginning of the show when I read the headline about Mitch McConnell kind of being like, we don't need Marjorie Taylor Greene's rhetoric anymore and all the conspiracies that she's spreading? Did you hear about that?
No, someone just shared your thing, so I just jumped on.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think you would answer.
Oh, no, yeah. No, I mean, my show, 9:30 is when I open up the phone lines, but if I get a call before that, I'm not going to turn around. I'm not going to turn down talking to the listeners. Got to keep the communication going.
Hey, well, thanks for answering. It's good to see you, and I can't wait to keep watching.
Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you take care of yourself, Henry.
Same to you, man.
All right, bye-bye. There you go. There was what is it? Long time listener, first time caller. I don't know if I've had many of those before, but anyway. So thank you, Henry, for calling. So it's about 9:26. It's almost the bottom of the hour. Almost time to take the break over here. So let me check a couple of these comments over here in the chat real quick before I take my little break, and we'll get back into some of these Heaven's Gate beliefs over here. Sorry, I lost my head there for a second. Lizzie Mouse, yeah, that's a bummer. Hey, that. Are you still researching oobleck over there, Lizzie Mouse? Let me know what you find, because maybe there's a conspiracy that has to do with oobleck. Benjamin, honestly, that sounds great. The oobleck? Is that what you're talking about, Benjamin? Don't eat the oobleck. It is edible. It's non-toxic, but it probably is not going to have a good time coming out. Wooden Tooth Records, those damn Rothschilds. Yes, the Rothschilds, they're always coming into play when it comes to big conspiracy theories. So you know what? Regardless of who is responsible for the space lasers, the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergs? It's always the elite that's screwing us over here. Celia, yeah, what's the Jewish connection? Now, I talked about this on a previous episode in regards to just conspiracy theories in general, that there's just always a big like anti-Semitic angle to a ton of conspiracy theories. It's the othering of other groups of people. It's turning other people into the enemy. And unfortunately, the Jewish people are just kind of they're pincushions for a lot of conspiracy stuff like that. It's very sad. I don't like it. I don't. Whenever I'm reading about conspiracies and that angle comes up, it really makes me feel a type of way, not a good type of way. But I don't quite understand why it's always the Jewish connection. Wooden Tooth Records, she said it was a laser owned by the Rothschild family who are Jewish. Okay, so yes, there you go. Hello there, Henry Braha. So there you go. You're tuning in. Hard Eyes, thank you for calling. Lazy Mouth, dude, cult menu staple signature dish. Yes, love me actually I hate it, but for the purposes of the show, I love me this Jewish laser, Jewish conspiracy signature dish. And Benjamin, the food for Heaven's Gate. Yeah, the food for Heaven's Gate. Now, a part of me in my life, I've definitely subscribed to the idea of trying to make things as simple as possible and to kind of keep yourself from being distracted in a lot of ways. For a period there, and even still sort of now, I kind of eliminated a lot of, in terms of my clothing, I eliminated wearing pretty much any kind of clothing with logos on there, unless it was for a shirt from my work or something like that. I tried to wear just, white shirts. At one point I was wearing a lot of white pants just to keep it simple, not trying to like dazzle the eye over here. I want to dazzle you with my conversation. But anyway, so I understand the idea of trying to keep things simple and just do things as utility and not for pleasure. But just imagine eating the same thing every day and it being something as simple as meat sandwich with pickle, chips and lettuce or whatever it was. It's just, oh man, that just breaks my heart. But anyway, that's what they wanted to do, and it kept them on track to try to elevate their consciousness. So I guess I can't really argue with that. Anyways, it is the bottom of the hour, 9:30 over here on Tarantulas Dream TV. So let's take my little break over here. Now I'm doing something a little different here for season 2. I want everybody to let me know in the chat, let me know in DMs or whatever what you think of this. I'm eliminating the musical break, at least for this episode, because I do have a radio show that I play music on, Tarantulas Dream Radio. And so, I kind of wanted to keep the conversation moving over here for Tarantulas Dream TV, but I do have a new segment over here, so I want to introduce everybody to my good friend over here, Spumoni, with What You Talking About with Spumoni.
Hello, my fellow cosmic cohorts. My name is Spumoni, coming at you from the farthest reaches of the solar system from the Barnacle Nebula. What's on your mind? As I fly through the galaxy, crunching on kipper snaps, I have a lot of time to clear my head, and I think I've got a pretty good grasp on the inner workings of the cosmos. I have so much time, I'm opening up my phone lines for you, ready to answer all your questions. Want to know what lies on the other side of Pluto? How many stars you can fit into a toilet tissue roll? Relationship advice? Call now at 415-857-1154 leave a message, and I'll answer your questions live on air every Wednesday night. Time to get back to my hobby, punching microscopic dust mites. Call today, learn tomorrow.
There you go. That was our new segment over here on Tarantulas Dream TV. What you thinking about? I'm sorry I introduced it as what you talking about, but it's actually what you thinking about. I'm sorry, Spumoni. Didn't quite mean to step all over your segment over there. But that's my good friend Spumoni. Sometimes I call him Old Spumone. But anyway, yeah. If you have any questions for him, questions for Old Spumoni, or just comments, there's now a special what you thinking about with Spumoni phone line. The phone number is 415-857-1154. So if you have any questions for him, please give him a call, leave a message. You won't be talking to anybody. Don't worry. You don't have to talk to anybody. And he'll answer your questions on Wednesday nights right here during the old bottom of the hour. So with that being said, it is still the bottom of the hour over here on Tarantulas Dream TV, and it is open lines. Phone number for the show is 520-704-7820 if you'd like to call into the show. And we can talk Heaven's Gate. We can talk Jewish laser conspiracies, whatever you want to talk about. It is open lines over here. And it looks like, boom, we already got a caller over here. Caller, you are on the air with Tarantulas Dream TV.
Hello, Samba.
Yes, this is Samba.
It's Pizza Pie in the Sky. How you doing?
Oh, hey, old Pizza Pie. Nice to have you back on the show. I am doing just fine. How are you doing this fine evening?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just here with another listener. We're having a great time. Welcome back. We want to welcome you back.
Oh, thank you. No, I really appreciate it. I missed everybody those handful of months I was gone. I definitely was anxious to get back on the air, and after I kind of was able to do some studio upgrades, I was so excited to just share the show and me floating through the nothingness and share that with everyone, that I had missed. So I'm glad to have you back. What have you been up to the last 2-3 months?
Oh, it's hard to say. I don't know. I'm sure there was something that happened, but yeah. Hey, actually, I got a question for you and the caller or and the listeners today.
Sure.
I was wondering if you've ever been to the Death Museum and seen the Heaven's Gate exhibit.
Yeah, actually, in December of 2019, me and my in-studio producer, who's actually not in studio tonight, so unfortunately, Eggs and Eyes, she'll be tuning into the show later on, we took a trip to California to visit some family, and we made a pit stop at the old Museum of Death, and yeah, we saw the little room they made with the bunk beds and everything. It was it felt very creepy, but yeah, we definitely checked it out. I'm assuming you've been there as well?
I have, yeah. Really kind of puts things in perspective, because I've also been a long time, Heaven's Gate fan. I got shirts, I got buttons, I got pins, but yeah, when you actually see it, you're like, oh yeah, these were real people, this really happened.
Yeah, yeah, it really happened for sure. Now, that's interesting. You said you're a fan of Heaven's Gate. You've got patches and pins. What is your connection to it? Why are you such a fan of the group?
I feel like of all the cults or whatever you want to call it, I feel like they had the best media. I feel like the most iconic looks.
Sure.
They got the tapes. I'll never forget as a kid seeing Bo's face, on my TV screen. I feel like, yeah, I think I was just old enough to remember that one, whereas all the other ones were like a little bit before my time. So, and the Nikes, and the tracksuits. It's just all very iconic. But then, the older I got and the more I looked into it, it is a very interesting story. And like you said, a lot of Arizona connections. I watched the first episode of that HBO special. They have flyers from like Sedona. Mm-hmm. That was pretty wild to see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, that's, I mean, it sounds like we've got very similar connections to Heaven's Gate. So I was very excited to talk about them tonight, even though I kind of felt like a lot of people have a fairly, kind of a general view of who Heaven's Gate is and what they are. And they're not like a mystery cult that kind of popped up and no one knows anything about. Like you were saying, there's sort of like this almost, it's weird to say, but like sort of like a pop culture element to the whole thing, with the Nikes and the, I don't know, and just the videotapes that were released later on that we'll be getting into on Wednesday. Yeah, there's sort of a weird pop culture element to it that it's sometimes a little hard to kind of get through, because it feels like it's a very real thing. People died, but it is part of the like cultural, I don't know, pop culture diet of a lot of people from the 90s.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you, Samba, so much. Loving the topic, loving the new studio. It's a very expensive upgrade that you were able to launch yourself in space. So glad you're doing well. Yeah.
Hey, and everyone on the chat, and maybe you too, Pizza Pie. Remember, right now we got that big squeeze with GameStop. That's how I was able to afford this whole thing. Really took me to the moon. I got like 3 million shares in GameStop, and I'm just blasting off right now. So if anyone on the chat is also holding some GameStop, diamond hands, let's go to the moon, baby. Anyway, thanks for calling Pizza Pie. We'll chat sometime soon.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye. There you go. That was good friend of the show, Pizza Pie, chatting about Heaven's Gate. Yes, it's a very Southwest, very Arizona group, cult. So, everyone there's people who have a very deep connection with this group. Anyways, let's get back into some of the beliefs of Heaven's Gate. But again, it is open lines if anyone else has anything they'd like to say. The old Samba over here, phone number of the show, 520-704-7820. So the next thing I do want to get into over here, actually, before I get into it, I do want to put up this little slideshow of the cookbook with the alien drawings in there. So yes, in this cookbook, and one of the reasons why people snatched it up so quickly when they found out it had to do with Heaven's Gate is the illustrations in the book. Now, in the cookbook, there are handfuls of these drawings of what appear to be this sort of like alien gray kind of like creature that is cooking and kind of showing you the proper things to eat, the proper things to put in your body. And so, it's a very interesting kind of connection with the group, these drawings. So I'm going to have these drawings kind of scrolling around over here while I talk about a few more of these beliefs that they have going on over here. So now later on in the group, Applewhite and Nettles began to promote the idea of walk-ins. Now, the concept of walk-ins grew in popularity after the publication of the 1979 New Age book, Strangers Among Us. The concept of walk-ins surmises that a person's soul can leave their body and be replaced with a different soul. Applewhite and Nettles originally taught the group that they were extraterrestrials, but changed that to being extraterrestrial walk-ins. This new narrative fit in nicely with their overall idea of the human body being nothing more than a vehicle. So yes, I did help them kind of navigate sort of some of these really tough situations when it comes to people dying within the group and whatnot, that essentially the human body is just a vehicle. And so when it passes, it's just the soul going to is just transcending. So there you go. Now, the next thing I want to get into over here is this concept of TELAH, or T-E-L-A-H, which stood for the evolutionary level above human. Now, this is from wikipedia.org. TELAH is a physical corporal place, another world in our universe, where residents live in pure bliss and nourish themselves by absorbing pure sunlight. At the next level, beings do not engage in sexual intercourse, eating, or dying, the things that make us mammalian here. Now, like many religions, the idea that humans have basic urges and want those urges to be fulfilled is seen as the actions of an unevolved being and should be purged to allow for a high consciousness level to take hold. Now, apparently there were 4 different ways that you could achieve and go to TELAH. The first one was physical pickup onto a TELAH spacecraft and transfer to a next-level body aboard that craft. Now, in this version, a UFO or this version of what they kind of considered like a UFO rapture. An alien spacecraft would descend to Earth and collect Applewhite, Nettles, and their followers, and their human bodies would be transformed through biological and chemical processes to perfected beings. This and other UFO-related beliefs held by the group have led some observers to characterize this group as a type of UFO religion. Now, the second way was natural death, accidental death, or death from random violence. Here, the graduating soul leaves the human container for a perfected next-level body. I find this one a little interesting because essentially it's just any death. Natural death, accidental death, or death from random violence. So like any death, really. Now the third way was outside persecution that leads to death. So there you go, another way to die. Now after the deaths of the Branch Davidians in Waco and the events involving Randy Weaver at Ruby Ridge, Applewhite was afraid the American government would murder the members of Heaven's Gate. Now, the fourth way to enter Tela is willful exit from the body in a dignified manner. Now, near the end, Applewhite had a revelation that they might have to abandon their human bodies and achieve the next level as Jesus had done. This occurred on March 22nd and 23rd when 39 members committed suicide and, quote-unquote, graduated. Now, along with that, this next thing I want to talk about, a little trigger warning. It involves body modification, in some ways body mutilation, but the idea is it's castration. Now, to help maintain their lifestyle of abstaining from earthly indulgences, namely physical sexual relationships and attractions, 8 of the male members of the group underwent voluntary castration. Now, initially, the group had planned to carry out the castrations themselves, with one of the members, a former nurse, performing the procedure. Unfortunately, this did not work out, with the only participating member almost dying from the procedure. Now, many experts who have studied Applewhite have agreed that this particular practice stemmed from Applewhite's sexual repression and self-loathing due to his homosexuality. So yes, not every male member of the group was castrated. I think that might be sort of a it's not something that's factual. Not all of them got castrated. Some of them just didn't want to do it. They didn't think it was necessary, and so they didn't do it, but at least 8 of them did, including Applewhite. So apparently that did help them with these kind of earthly feelings that they would have. So, again, not something I would recommend anyone do, but apparently it kind of worked for them. Now, the next thing I want to get into is outta names. Outta names. Now, unfortunately, I kind of forgot about this. I was going to introduce myself as Sodi as my Heaven's Gate name, but I forgot about it, so maybe next time. Now, all members of the group eventually chose or were given new names in an effort to start fresh. These names most commonly ended in the form of Odie or O-D-Y. Now, surviving member Sawyer gives an explanation for the names, although somewhat confusingly. So on the chat, if you understand what this guy Sawyer, what he's talking about, or how his explanation for why they used Odie, then maybe you can explain it better to me than how he did. Now, this explanation comes from a Reddit user who apparently talked to Sawyer and asked him about the Odie. And Sawyer said, "The Odie names have become a confused subject, but it's simple. All the students had selected their own names for the most part when they joined to have a fresh start in mind and body. When we gathered in Wyoming in 1976, I had the same name as actually Mark. That name was Philip, so I became named by T and Doe Philip Brown. Then some time passed and Doe changed my name to Sawyer. I happened to be the woodcutter, chainsaw operator in the class, and other references to working with wood in my past. Then T and Doe told us soon after that the next level were adopting us into their family as their children, so they shortened whatever name we had to 3 letters and added Odie, so my name became Sawodi. They said at the time that when we grew up they would drop the Y, so I would have become Siwad or Swayod, the family of odd, lol, pun intended. Then T left, and after a number of years, Doe felt like we had passed our final exam by having stayed in the class and wanting to grow, which was a challenge to do. So he named us differently, and I became Swidot or Swidote. But right after that, we went public in 1992 with the Beyond Human series, and some who had dropped out saw them played on a satellite dish channel, and since there was a P.O. box given, a number wrote and asked if they could rejoin, and Doe accepted them back, but didn't want them to have Odie names, and we have Dote names, so he told us to go back to all using Odie names, but that was only for internal use, which is the reason you don't see Odie names used in the Beyond Human series. So that was a surviving member Sawyer's explanation for why Marshall Applewhite gave them these Odie names. So yes, my name is Amsodi. I don't know. I still don't quite understand how to form your own Heaven's Gate name. And I didn't do my due diligence. Maybe there's already a website or something online that you just punch in a name and it changes it for you. I feel like that would probably be a thing. I feel like someone would have done that. Now, the last thing I want to get into tonight is this concept of vehicles. Now, in 1985, Nettles died from cancer spreading throughout her body starting in 1983. Now, her death reverberated throughout Heaven's Gate. At this point, the group believed that when the time was right, their physical bodies would be taken aboard a spacecraft and evolved to higher-level beings. The death of Nettles shook that belief. After her passing, Applewhite revised the teachings of the group. The body was now considered nothing but a vehicle, a container for the soul or the consciousness, and physical death of the body just meant that the soul was now free to evolve. This change pushed the group closer to the inevitable events of 1997. So yes, that's where I'm going to leave you all tonight with me talking about Heaven's Gate over here, because there's still quite a bit more to get through. But, you know, I want to save it for Wednesday because it's going to get spicy. We're going to have... now, I apologize for this one. This episode was definitely more just me talking. On Wednesday, there's going to be video clips. We're going to have audio clips from this Beyond Human series that they put out, the Heaven's Gate group, as well as some clips from the Art Bell classic Coast to Coast episodes. A lot more video stuff to kind of dazzle the eye. But anyway, let me check the chat over here as we're coming up into the last little 10 minutes of the program over here. Let's see. Trial and Error Collective. This segment rules. I'm assuming you're referring to my good friend Spumoni and what you're thinking about. So please, again, if anyone has any questions for my good friend Spumoni, give him a call, 415-857-1154, and he will answer your calls or answer your questions for him on Wednesday. Benjamin, I deeply approve. Oh, thank you very much, Benjamin. Celia, nah. Celia, do you not like my good friend Spumoni over here? I won't let him know. If you don't quite like Spumoni, I'm not going to... I won't rat you out to Spumoni, don't you worry. Lizzie Mouse, a bunch of fire emojis. Maybe you're talking about maybe the Spumoni's on fire. Nathan Lovelady. Hello there, Nathan Lovelady. Thank you for coming back to the show. Quiverlip, show us your pants, party boy. I can't stand up. I'm floating through the darkness, the nether regions of space. So you just have to, again, you just got to trust that I'm wearing pants over here. Benjamin, whoa, those drawings are amazing. Yes, honestly, those are some of my favorite parts of this cookbook. I was able to kind of find some PDF pages from it. And, I mean, the cooking is as kind of as flavorless as you would imagine the cooking would be after I kind of described the meals they had. But the drawings, they're so good. I mean, they're essentially what they believed they would become eventually down the line when they they abandoned their containers, or their containers were kind of transformed, evolved into these perfect beings. And apparently that's what the perfect beings look like to them. Essentially, they just look like kind of like alien grays, to be honest, which, it's kind of trippy to think, all these different little connections that connect with each other when it comes to different alien extraterrestrial species, and a lot of them kind of all join right there with the alien grays. Lizzie Mouse, Garfield, lol, I'm a jerk? What's going on with Garfield? You don't like Garfield, Lizzie Mouse, or did he do something wrong? I don't know. Steal your lasagna. Benjamin, Benodi. These names sound like Pokemon. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still don't quite. Again, I don't understand what the prerequisites were in regards to how to get your Heaven's Gate name, like how they kind of rearranged their names to fit with Odie. I don't know. But at any rate, maybe from now on, at least for this week, if you tune in on Wednesday, I'm going to refer to you as Benody. And Celia, it was like a no way. This is awesome. Okay, there you go. That makes sense. All right. No, I thought you were criticizing my new segment over here. I'm very happy to have my friend on the show, and he's going to answer some questions. So I'm glad you like it. Lazy Mouse, Odie. Yeah, Odie. Odie and Garfield. Yeah, there you go. That makes sense now. Sorry. Sometimes with the chat over here, it's because it's delayed. The jokes, they just fly over my head because they don't appear when I say the thing. So ultimately, it just kind of it doesn't work out. Anyway, so I'm hoping everyone's enjoying the new format for the show over here, enjoying the new segments. And I'm hoping it's looking better. I'm hoping it's sounding maybe potentially better, or maybe it sounds exactly the same. Because I'm happy to do these shows again. I'm very happy. I didn't mention it at the beginning, but the theme song, I want to give a shout out to Jim McGuinn and the Cosmic Cowboys. They composed, it's an original song. It's my new theme song. I've never had anyone write me a theme song before. I wrote the previous theme song, and then the original theme song was Psychic TV. But this time, I really wanted a great local band to come together and help me out and put out a theme song. So I hired them to do it. So all credit where credit is due. They were compensated, and they wrote a fantastic theme for the show. So if you have any interest in checking out Jim McGuinn and the Cosmic Cowboys, I believe they are on here on Instagram. I don't believe they're on Bandcamp or anything like that. So unfortunately, you can find them on Bandcamp. But they did do a lovely set of music for Groundworks, a local nonprofit youth kind of collective, like youth organization here in town. And so you can find them, I believe, on YouTube. You can find their set. So please check out Jim McGuinn and the Cosmic Cowboys. And yes, I just love my new theme song over here. So I'm hoping that everyone does as well. Benjamin, looks and sounds great. Thank you very much, Benjamin. And thank you all for coming back to the show. It's always kind of hard to kind of gauge the public interest in fun projects like these. You know, some people come back, some people don't. I don't know. People, and also I was gone for so long that I don't even know. Maybe people's lives change. I mean, I came back, and you know, we got a new president, we got a new vice president. It's honestly still very weird, because of the abusive relationship that essentially the American people went through for 4 years, that we have a new president. It honestly just feels weird. Now, I'm not a Biden fan or anything like that, but you know, it's definitely like a very weird feeling to not really have Donald Trump in my face anymore. And I'm hoping people are kind of breathing a sigh of relief when it comes to that kind of thing. But there's still a lot of work to do regardless. But anyway, yes, it's a very weird feeling to come back after a couple of months. And really the world is just so different, but also kind of eerily similar. I'm hoping everyone's staying safe out there. I hope everyone is still masking up, social distancing, the whole thing. We're coming so close to being able to kind of, in a way, it's the end of the line, almost the end of the finish line, almost the end of the race when it comes to COVID. In sort of, there's always the unfortunate idea of COVID mutating and all this kind of stuff. But at the very least, vaccines are here, and hopefully we'll all be able to get some sweet vaccines. Please pump me up full of that delicious juice, that vaccination juice, and so we can kind of at some point get together again, and maybe I'll have a live Tarantulas Dream TV episode live on the streets. What's that guy who interviews people on the street? I don't know his name. He's very loud. He's very in your face. I don't know his name, but maybe someday I'll be able to do that for the show. Anyway, let me check the chat over here. Benjamin looks and sounds great. Thank you very much, Benjamin. Lazy Mouse giving me the old satanic hand symbols over there. Lazy Mouse, Gabba Gabba hey, love the Gabba Gabba hey, Gabba wee. Celia, I hear ya. Hand claps. Lizzie Mouse, hashtag solidarity. So stoked to have you back. Thank you very much. Benjamin, Billy Eichner. That's it. There you go. My in-studio producer, Tatataban. She got in a little Billy Eichner kick there for a while. So I saw more episodes than I thought I'd ever see of his show on Netflix. But maybe I'll be a paranormal version of Billy Eichner over here. It's about 9:55. It's about the top of the hour. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Tarantulas Dream TV over here on Instagram. If anyone is interested, I got a new episode of Tarantulas Dream Radio over on 99.1 FM, downtown radio KTDT Tucson, talking about Heaven's Gate over there as well, but also playing some chain punk, some egg punk. Tonight is the battle of the punk genre, the meme punk genres. Yes, chain versus egg punk over on Tarantulas Dream Radio at 11 p.m., so tune in over there. And I'm excited for season 2 of Tarantulas Dream TV. There's going to be some new projects coming your way as well over on YouTube and maybe Twitch. I've been doing some experimenting with some video games and talking paranormal stuff, as well as playing some cool video games. I don't know. I figured I'm floating in space, might as well make the most of it and jump on a couple of these other platforms. Anyways, I'll be back on Wednesday. We're going to be talking more Heaven's Gate. We're going to be talking about kind of more modern Heaven's Gate stuff. They are still around in a small way, but they are still here. And I potentially had some communication with some of the surviving members of Heaven's Gate. So we're going to be getting into that on Wednesday, as well as talking about, and as well as showing some of the video clips from the Heaven's Gate group over here on Tarantulas Dream TV. Let me check the chat one more time before we get off. Celia, David Blaine. Yeah, he also does a lot of man on the street stuff, doesn't he? I don't know, like street magic. Equivalent Mind Freak. That is not David Blaine. That's the other guy. What is the name of the Mind Freak guy? Is it just Mind Freak? Nathan Lovely. Hello there again. And Celia, it's a good radio show. Well, thank you very much, Celia. I appreciate you all tuning in. Anyway, the music fading in means this is the end of the program tonight. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in again. I'll be back on Wednesday, same time, same bat channel over here on Instagram. My name is Samba. This is Tarantulas Dream TV. Please wear a mask, social distance if you can, and remember, it is a weird, weird world. Take care.